Great. Thank you, Ambassador. Senator Hagerty.
Thank you, Chairman Ricketts, and again, welcome to all of you. Several of the panelists today are nominated to serve at the United Nations, so I'd like to start with the United Nations today, if I might. If you think about it, the United Nations has become the poster child of ineffective bureaucracy. It's bloated, it's slow-moving, it's resistant to reform. And despite the billions of dollars of annual contributions that come to the UN disproportionately coming from the United States, the organization remains plagued by overlapping mandates, weak accountability, and an entrenched culture of cultural inefficiency. If I think about it, the UN all too often takes and diverts their resources into administrative overhead rather than frontline impact. Its missions suffer from poor oversight, and its decision-making is quite often politicized. So, Mr. Bartos, I'd like to start with you. Just explain to us your plans for increasing the efficiency and the financial accountability and impact of the United Nations.
Senator, thank you for the question, and I want to also say thank you for your leadership from the time you got to the Senate on defunding UNRWA and working towards the dismantlement of UNRWA. It's meant a lot to so many people, your leadership on that. And we, if confirmed, will be serving under the most consequential and effective president in history for the U.S.-Israel relationship, as well as a leader whose record of combating anti-Semitism is second to none. And so while we approach the 50th anniversary of the stain of the Zionism is racism resolution at the UN, a stain on that body that is almost 50 years old, it seems like this is an organization that's immune, or resistance, a good word, but I would say almost it's just immune to reform.
Well, I think they've demonstrated their perspective, and you have a unique window of opportunity, I think.
I do. It's because of President Trump's leadership, his vision, his leadership, and his charge to us that every dollar that goes through the UN system cannot be. The American people are the most generous people on earth. We have been the most generous funders. Our nation has been the most generous funders for 80 years. And the President has charged, and Secretary Rubio has charged to say not a dollar of that can go to waste, fraud, and abuse. And every dollar must make us safer, stronger, and more prosperous. And I think it's with presidential leadership, leadership of the Secretary of State, and if confirmed, our team to use our generosity and the U.S.'s role at the UN, our dollars need to matter. They need to matter in procurement, they need to matter in personnel, and they need to matter when we say that this organization needs to be, or this particular agency needs reform. It's that presidential leadership from the Secretary, and if confirmed, our team's leadership to execute the President's America First agenda.
It's an organization that cries out for leadership and, frankly, respect for those that fund it. I've attended the United States General Assembly meeting when President Trump spoke. I've been there on multiple occasions with President Trump. That organization is basically out of control right now in terms of their inefficiency, their lack of respect for those that fund it, and the politicization of many of the institutions. And on the politicization front, I'd like to turn to you, Ms. Laseta. If you think about it, the UN was founded on principles of peace, security, and human rights. But the organization has become increasingly politicized. If you think about the authoritarian regimes there right now that seem to dominate its institutions, they do it in a way that legitimizes their own agendas. They do it in a way that helps them avoid scrutiny. I wanted you to talk specifically about how you would address the politicization within UN agencies. Think about the Human Rights Council, UNESCO. These sort of hostile authoritarian regimes often take these organizations and steer their agendas in a way that's very contrary to U.S. interest.
Thank you, Senator, for your question, and I share your concern. As you know, in February, President Trump signed an executive order to withdraw the United States from the Human Rights Council. That same executive order also called for the review of our participation in international organizations to make sure that our participation aligns with national interests. Many organizations within the UN have lost their way. Both the Human Rights Council and UNESCO continually serve as examples of the pervasive anti-Israel bias that exists within the UN. They continually push back on Israel's right to sovereign self-defense, and further, an organization like the Human Rights Council enables countries with brutal regimes like Cuba, Venezuela, and North Korea to have a platform despite their own terrible records with human rights abuses. These organizations must get back to the founding principles of the UN, which is to prevent war and to maintain international peace and security. If confirmed, I will work with the State Department on the outcome of their review, and I will review our participation in international organizations to make sure that everything that we do makes sure that America is stronger, safer, and more prosperous.
Well, beyond review, I hope you hold them to account. Mr. Chair, if you would indulge me with one final question. I'd like to come back to you, Ambassador Blanchard. I'm very interested in your leadership and look forward to your leadership at the UN's Food and Agricultural Organization and the related agencies in Rome. I visited that mission in the past, and I'm very concerned about the influence that exists there right now. The Director General today, Director Chu Dong-yu, and his deputies have basically steered FAO priorities in a direction that supports Beijing and its desires, and certainly in means that don't support the United States and our allies. If you look ahead to the 2027 election of a new Director General, I'd just like to know if you plan to make certain that we have either a U.S. nominee or at least an ally as a nominee to be the new Director General so we can get this organization back on course.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. Certainly, I've been looking forward. I've already had the pleasure to speak with my deputy, who has already arrived at post, and I told him let's not get ahead of the Senate, but he has informed me of some things, and we really would like to focus on building partnerships with our allies right away, if confirmed when I get to post, because it's the partnerships that'll be able to elect all the new entities, and of course, all the infiltration, not to mention in the other areas that the CCP has tried to take over abroad in our food sourcing. So it'll be my pleasure to partner with our allies and figure out how we can come together and pick a candidate that can win and that can lead this organization with like-minded American initiatives.
Well, I look forward to a new nominee and many more purchases of Nebraska agricultural products. And with that, I'd also just like to commend all of our nominees to the UN. You've got a challenging job ahead of you, but we absolutely need you to take care of that. And to our two country ambassadors nominees, I look forward to your confirmation and working with you in your future roles. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great. Senator Hagerty. Senator Coons.
Mr. Chairman, I'll defer to my friend and colleague from the